So, Rich is asking how much backstory is too much backstory for a level 1 character?
No such thing. I have characters that I will write pages for. I will have characters that I will just have a few lines for. One of the players in our Sunday morning game, who's currently in chat. Hi, RJ. I don't think he gave our DM a backstory for his character until like having played that character for 2 months. It all backstory comes when you're ready to give it and when you have a feel for the character. It doesn't matter how big it is or how in depth it is. It's all something that you can develop over time, and you can choose to add to a small backstory later when you think, hey, I think that this is something my character would have in their backstory. I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. Um, but yeah, I don't think if you come with no backstory or 15 pages, just be aware that the DM may or may not use it.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing there that
Mhm.
I was going to bring up is the more
Yeah.
backstory you give your DM, the easier it is for them to tie your
Mhm.
backstory into the story. If you
Yeah.
turn up with nothing, then they can't tie it in. But saying that, I have had the situation where players turned up with nothing, and in a couple of sessions in, they've heard some lore about something and been like, "Oh, that's really
Mhm.
interesting. I would like to tie my character into that," and that's completely
Yeah.
fine as well.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, as too much, well, I had one character, one player, give me an 18-page backstory, and that was quite a lot to read, but I did
Mhm.
it, and it was a pretty good backstory, luckily.
Mhm.
But I guess if you got like a 25-page backstory, which was not very good, then it might be difficult. But I think you
Yeah.
still have to,
I
if they're as excited to play their character to write 18 pages, then you as a DM should be okay
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah, I feel like backstories are more for bringing the character to life for the player than they are for the DM. The DM provides the framework of the story, and I've never thought that it was the DM's job to highlight character backstories or bring them in at all. I've always felt that a player's backstory is something that they should bring up themselves as they become comfortable with the party, and the party becomes friends and eventually becomes usually found family
Mm.
is the experience that most people have, I think, unless you're playing a campaign where everyone's suspicious of one another. But I think backstory is something that's very personal to players, and it will never be more important to anyone at the table than it is to the player. And I think bring in as much or as little as you want to tell your party.